Dolls are small toys made to resemble humans. Each has their own purpose and form, but not all are innocent. Throughout history, these common objects have been subject to possession, rituals, and other supernatural events. Today, I'm going over the top 10 scariest dolls. Kill James Elmo. Since 1996, dolls of the famous Sesame Street character, Elmo, have been produced and in some cases were the most popular things on sale. During the year of 2008, a 2-year-old named James Bowman owned an Elmo Knows Your Name doll. This doll, released in 2004, was programmed to remember its owner's name and use it for many phrases planned. This particular doll, however, liked to say the word kill before saying James's name.
Kill James? Kill James?
Eventually, the mother would put the doll away, but when the batteries were replaced later, Emma would start shouting death threats. The Fisher-Price company offered to replace the doll, but it's not known whether or not the family actually took the offer. Voodoo Zombie Doll. A woman in Galveston, Texas, bought a voodoo zombie doll on eBay. While ordering this doll, the original owner gave her a few rules and warnings. The first was not to let the doll out of its silver casing, which she did and would soon regret. The woman has said that this doll has haunted her dreams and even attacked her. The woman would try to sell the doll on eBay, but whenever she made a successful sale, the buyer would get an empty box, and the doll would arrive on her doorstep. The doll now is owned by a self-proclaimed ghost hunter attempting to solve its mysteries. Juliets. This baby doll, by the name of Juliet, was given to Anna when she was a young girl. However, the doll had cursed the woman of her family. Every daughter would give birth to 2 children, a boy and a girl. The boy would mysteriously die 3 days after its birth, and the girl would then repeat this curse as the next daughter to give birth to the next boy and girl. Anna was told that Juliet was given to her pregnant great-grandmother by a vengeful friend. This great-grandmother was the start of the curse. Giggles, screams, and even cries of an infant can sometimes be heard from the doll. Mandy. Between the years of 1910 and 1920, in England or Germany, was a porcelain baby doll named Mandy. The original owner, who later donated the doll, claimed she heard crying from her basement at night. The crying only stopped when the doll was donated to a museum. Employees' lunches go missing every now and then, and just end up somewhere else in the building. Footsteps would often be heard around the doll, even when no one else is around, and basic objects would be moved to places they shouldn't. Originally, the museum wanted her with the other dolls, but she had been moved because Mandy would harm the other dolls. Poopa. Poopa was a doll made in the 1920s. Her appearance was meant to resemble her owner. Her owner, however, claimed that the doll spoke to her until she passed away in 2005. Her family put Poopa in a glass case, and every now and then her position and even facial expression would change, and sometimes she would tap on the glass casing. Letta. In 1972, Kerry Walton was in his hometown in Australia for his grandmother's funeral. While there, he wanted to face a childhood fear of his and go into an abandoned old building that scared him almost his entire life. Underneath the porch of this house was a marionette at which Kerry felt the need to take, and he still owns to this day. According to professionals, the doll is actually over 200 years old, and was made by a Romanian gypsy for his son that had unfortunately drowned. These types of dolls would act as a home for the dead. The puppet has real hair, and under its scalp is something like a brain. He was given the name Letta due to the European gypsy heritage. That, and the doll sometimes would shout, "Let me out." The doll does nothing to harm anyone. The most it's ever done is move on its own, change position, and even produce a pulse. Though many people when around the doll get a sickening feeling, and dogs even bark at the doll. Crystal, True, Monkia, Charla, Isaac, Lily, Ashley, and Cameron. These are 8 miniature dolls supposedly haunted and possessed. In fact, the current owners living inside rural Pennsylvania bought them for the exact reason of being paranormal investigators. They want to give the dolls a good home while still being able to examine them. A camera is set on them 24/7 to record any paranormal anomaly. Every now and then, the camera spots something strange. The biggest being in 2009, when the camera recorded a small boy at the bottom of the steps. Okiku, the doll. In Japan, there is a doll named Okiku, who received her name from the child it was given to. In 1918, Okiku's older brother, Aikichi Suzuki, while he was visiting Sapporo for a marine exhibition. The child loved the doll, but sadly a year later, she had died to a cold. The family kept the doll and put it on their altar as a memory of the child. Though after some time, the family noticed that the doll's hair was longer than before. It was said that the child's restless spirit most likely went into the doll as a vessel. In 1938, the family had moved away, but they have left the doll in the Monijin temple to keep it safe. No one knows why the doll's hair grows, but it's been proven that the doll's hair is that of a young girl. Annabel. Annabel was a doll given to Donna by her mother after she had purchased it at a hobby store. At the time, Donna was going to college while living with her roommate, Angie. Eventually, the two discovered that the doll would randomly move on its own from room to room, and things only became stranger when Donna started to find paper messages in the house saying, "Help me." Donna then found blood on her hands coming from Annabel. It was revealed by a medium that, just like Okiku, the doll was possessed by a 7-year-old girl named Annabel, who had been found dead on her property. Despite this, the two girls and their friend Lou allowed the doll to stay. Until things got even worse when Lou started to get claw marks on his body. This is when they contacted Ed and Lorraine Warren. They found out that it was not a ghost inside the doll, but a demon. A priest then performed an exorcism on the room, and the Warren couple took the doll and built a glass case to keep her inside. To this day, Annabel still resides within the same glass. Robert the Doll. In the late 1800s, the Alto family had recently moved into a mansion in the far area of Eaton. The family had their own servants, but didn't treat them very well, which could be the reason why one of them was caught performing black magic. She was fired that same day, but before she left, she gave the son, Robert, a 3-foot-tall lifelike doll with buttons for eyes and filled with straw. Robert named the doll after himself, and took him everywhere he went. Eventually, the child referred to himself by his middle name, claiming that Robert was not his name, but the doll's. Robert, now going by the name Gene, would then talk to the doll inside his room. This went on for a while, worrying the servants and the family. Strange things then occurred in the mansion. Gene can be seen cowering away from the doll. Objects would be moved from place to place, and giggling could even be heard. Every time some sort of supernatural event occurred, Gene would always say, "Robert did it." As an adult, he would bring Robert everywhere he went. But things took an even darker turn after Gene and his wife passed away for unknown reasons. Nowadays, Robert resides in the East Martello Museum in Key West. Anyone can visit, though it's said that cameras won't work around him. But if one does, it's recommended not to take a picture of Robert. Those who have claim they were cursed and beg for Robert's forgiveness.